Hey guys, this is Man vs. Details here. Today we're going to be working on replacing the shock mounts and struts on this 2000 Jaguar XJ8 with 110,000 miles. Vehicle at the moment's clunking like crazy. It's pretty much because there's absolutely no suspension essentially on this front here except the coil springs. So we're going to be replacing that shock mount on both sides. This one's already been done. And yeah, it should solve a lot of the problems we're getting with the suspension on this car. And I'm going to show you one of the original ones here, and you'll kind of get an idea of why it's been driving so badly. So as you can see, there's absolutely no bushing remaining, and it's completely exposed metal on metal, which is just causing a complete disaster for a driving experience, and also it's probably not the safest. And so we're going to be swapping it in for this new one here, which should solve the majority of our problems and make this a lot better of a ride on the vehicle. And it just looks a whole lot nicer overall. Alright, so I've gone ahead and put together every tool that you're going to need to get both of these jobs completed, the mounts and the strut assemblies replaced. So first thing you're going to need is a 22mm socket if you still have the OEM wheels on the vehicle and you haven't done any kind of adapters. We're going to need a 10mm socket as well, followed by an adjustable wrench, and then a size 17 wrench, and that's all going to be what we need to get the wheel off, but also do the mounting job. Second part of this repair is going to need the following. We're going to need a typical just socket wrench setup here. We have a 15 and a 13mm. Then we also have a 5/16 wrench that you see there. Both of those are going to be needed to get the strut off. I prefer to use the impact drill, just makes it a lot easier for me. Going to need a jack stand, a jack that can support the weight of the car. I prefer an LED light to light up the workspace. But yeah, that's everything you need to get this job done. Let's do it. Okay, step number one, we're going to locate the section here on the frame where we can go ahead and lift this car up here. Luckily for Jaguars, it's really easy to find and it's really simple and easy. So I'm going to go ahead and jack that up here a couple inches high enough so I can get that wheel off so I can have access to then do my next step here. Alright, let's go ahead and get this wheel off so we can get access to where we need to put that next jack stand so that we can get the rest of the job complete. As you can see, this impact lug nut wrench makes this a very simple process, not a big deal. You can buy these at Harbor Freight for less than $100. Alright, so essentially what I'm doing here is I now need to jack up the actual vehicle here so I can compress the spring so we can get the mount job complete. I didn't have quite enough bit of space there to do enough compression, so I went and raised it a little bit more, and we'll see what this can turn out here. As you can see, it pushes that strut inward so that we can release a little bit of that pressure as we move on to our next step here to remove the mount. So the reason we went ahead and did that is because we wouldn't be able to get this nut off here if we would have left that on there because there was just too much pressure. That nut essentially is what's holding the strut on there, and so that would have just been way too much torque behind that to make that happen. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take that off here. I got my adjustable wrench. Can't tell you what size that is on that at the top. Jaguar typically uses a special tool for that. I didn't want to pay for that since we can just do this easy workaround. There's going to be 5 10mm bolts that we need to take out here, as well as 3 bolts that you can see that hold that reservoir on. Reason why is the reservoir is going to get in the way of bolt number 5 on the mount, and so we're going to need to go ahead and make sure we do that. Alright, well let's go ahead here. We're just going to take both of our wrenches here, the size 17 and the adjustable, And we're going to hold the top of that pin with our adjustable wrench while we slowly crank away counterclockwise with the 17 to slowly loosen this bolt up. If I would have had a adjustable size 17 wrench with a ratchet effect, I would have definitely preferred to use that. However, it was only about 1.5 to 2 minutes, so we'll just use what we have. Alright, now let's go ahead and get this reservoir off so that we can get access to bolt number 5 there on the mount. Just going to take that 10mm, slowly loosen all of these up. They have a little rubber bushing on them that you'll kind of see there, but we pretty much just got to loosen these up, get that off, and move it off to the side so we can get access to this mount. And there you have it. So just go ahead and move that reservoir off to the side. Well, let's go ahead and get this mount removed. Again, we just have 5 bolts here. They're all 10mm, relatively easy. Even easier with our impact here. So we're just going to take those off one at a time. And just simply take the mount out, and that's it. Something I like to do on these ones before I put the new one on is I want to just clear out all of this loose debris. I just want to make sure it's got the right level surface here, and I don't want any of that old rubber getting in the way between the new one and the body of the car. So I'm just taking a light detail brush here and doing a little bit of cleanup duty. Alright, so now we're on to our next step here where we're going to go ahead and take that strut off here. So we just got a couple things that we need to do here. So there's going to be 2 different bolts connected to each other. So we got one here. This is going to be a size 13 nut, or sorry, not nut, but a socket. And then on that other side, we're going to have a size 5/16 wrench that we're going to end up using there. And that's why I had you go ahead and grab that. The 5/16 is going to hold that bolt in place so it doesn't move while we go ahead and use the socket on the other side. Just going to go ahead and place it on that nut there like so. Hold it in place. Now that we got that nut out of there, we're going to go ahead and remove the actual strut itself. I'm simply just going to lift, and then we are just going to slide it right on down that hole. And there you go. That's it. Simple as goes. We just got to put the new one in. So for the new one here, I'm simply just going to reuse the old boot since there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a basic piece of rubber. And you simply just got to slide this new one right back up through the hole where you took the old one out here. I always try to aim for shooting it up through that body frame where we unscrewed the mount first. And then we're just going to position this right into that section there where we just took that bolt out of. And now that we've got the new strut in here and we got it all positioned correctly, this is really just going to be a matter of reversing everything that we just did. So we're going to take everything back and put that nut straight through there and use the 5/16 in our 13 socket. We're going to go ahead here and jump to putting the mount in so that we can secure this new strut in place. If you're finding you're having kind of a tough time getting the screws to reattach through the threads, something kind of helpful to do now that the mount actually has some bushings is you can push on the center of the mount there, and it'll let you get this mount further down so that the screws can actually attach. Just a little trick I found along the way. Our last step here is we're going to take that adjustable wrench and our size 17 wrench, and we're simply just going to reinstall this main bolt here holding on the mount. And there you have it, folks. You have now completed replacing the strut mount and the official strut on the front of this vehicle. Should only take you probably about 20 to 30 minutes. Most of that would probably be just finding a video that's helpful like this one to help you do it. If you found the video helpful today, remember to go ahead and like, share, and subscribe on this page here to get more videos like this one, and tag anybody you know who's got a Jaguar. See you on the next one.